And we're back. Hey, everybody. It's Darren Carter, the party starter. Ooh, it popped a little bit there. I didn't bring my windscreen, but it's great, man. We're doing a podcast here on the studio of a Starbucks, and it's the one and only Mr. John DiResta, former NYPD cop. Went on to have his own sitcom and be in a lot of movies and work with A-list actors. How are you today, John?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Hey, man, always a pleasure to see you. You always got something to say. We've done so many phone calls where I'm like, damn, this should have been a podcast.
Right.
You know?
This is one of them.
This is one of them. I just got back from El Paso, Texas, and dude, it was hilarious. One of the comedians did a poll. He goes, hey, who would you guys vote for? Would you vote for Biden? Would you vote for Trump? And people, they're clapping and clapping. And then he starts to go and do a joke, right? He's like, yeah, Trump's hilarious. And then, I don't know if it's just because it was political or what, but just the weird timing, dude. The power went off.
Oh.
The entire power, like the all the lights, the mic, the place was pitch black for about 30 seconds. And everyone's like, ooh. And then I whipped out my flashlight and shined the light on his face. And then the audience started putting the light on him and then he powered through it, but it was really just a weird moment of the lights going out. Have you ever had that happen to you on stage?
I had I was in Lake Tahoe, and the fire alarm went off. So I had to do a whole 20-minute set of a fire alarm, and they told everyone to stay in their seats, but people weren't sure whether to leave or not because it was after 9/11. And people, if you remember 9/11, they said stay at your desks.
Yeah.
And people wind up passing away. I had a fire alarm go off. I did see that incident that you're talking about. I saw it last night and it was really nice. Like you had said to me, it was really fun, and there was something very special about when everyone put the lights on and he had that dumb grin on his face, and he powered on. He just went, it was nice.
If you guys want to see it, go check out. His name is Brian Swinehart. He's a comedian, Brian Swinehart. Look him up on Instagram. He posted it, Brian Swinehart. You're right. He definitely handled that dumb grin and was like, dang, it's a conspiracy. Who did that?
But the one story I heard of, I guess you never heard it, Robert Schimmel. Do you remember Robert Schimmel?
Yeah, of course.
He was in, where did they all go in Canada? It was a comedy festival.
Montreal Comedy Festival.
He was at Montreal, and I think it was a big set, whether to give him a sitcom or not. And he was in the middle of his set, and the lights went out. Dang. And everybody went, ooh, not just the lights, not the mic. And in that pause, he made the decision just to continue with his act. He didn't comment on the lights out. He made like the lights were still on, and he just went and did the rest of his 15-minute set, and people went nuts. In the dark. He did 15 minutes in the pitch black. Yeah. So it's a very famous story. I wasn't there, but I always heard about it.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if as that was happening, he was undressing and the lights come back on and you're like buck naked?
That's a whole different story.
You're like, hey, joke's on you, people. No.
But I like El Paso. I've been to El Paso 3 times, and here's the things I like about it. I've been around the block. I was a New York City cop. I traveled to every state. But when you're in El Paso, in the hotel, you look across and you see another country. You see Mexico on the other side of the 10 highway. And if you remember, you were there just yesterday, it's a big mountain, and everybody puts their laundry out. So it's a mountain of houses with their laundry out, and to me it looks like 500 garage sales.
Yeah.
And, all right, dude. And smokestacks. If you remember, there's quite a few smokestacks that are just billowing pollution.
Yep, right.
Because it's a different country.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a trip, and you watch the news, and like, we're here on the border, and you wonder what it's gonna, I go to El Paso, I've been going there for years, but it's been a while, it's been 2 years, and I went, and dude, it looked the same. It didn't, at least the area that I was in. And you know what's interesting, man, is the streets were clean where we were at, like we're walking through residential neighborhoods. We went for a little exercise, and you're seeing brick walls, no graffiti. You're seeing clean streets.
Right.
I saw, I did see a little bit of trash, very little, but I did see it was somebody had taken a big giant box of like dog biscuits, like those little fake bones, and they left them under near the overpass. I don't know if it was just for random stray dogs or what. And then the next day when we went, they were gone. So I don't know if
it's for migrants to eat. It's somebody being nice.
For their dogs?
No, I like El Paso a lot, and there was one other thing. I wanted to go to a swap meet. I heard there was a big swap meet in La Cruces.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I never went. But I had here's another funny thing that happened in El Paso. You know, I do a joke in my act, and it's true. I made 9 arrests in 12 years.
Yeah.
As a New York City cop, I'm in the record books, possibly as the worst cop in the 100-year history. I made 9 arrests in 12 years in Brooklyn, Coney Island, in the 80s and 90s. And in El Paso, a guy came up to me and said, yo, dog, you made 9 arrests in 12 years. I made 333 arrests last month. Yeah, wow. He had 333 arrests.
Wow.
And I guess he was like a border patrol guy.
Let me ask you this about your 9 arrests. If you remember, I don't know.
I do.
Did they all play along? Did they all agree to be arrested, or did anybody resist, or is it always a struggle, or what was it like?
Oh, that's a good question. No one's ever asked me that. In my 12-year career, I never really ever had to tussle with anybody. I never shot anyone. I pulled my gun about 3 times. I never shot anyone. I never had to use my nightstick or my mace. We didn't have a taser. I never used that because I didn't have one. And out of the 9 arrests, almost everybody played along to use a, Yeah, everybody was willing to put their hands behind their back. I really avoided any tussles. And as a stand-up comedian with a little bit of wit, my wit probably saved me 100 times in the subway. I mean, I've had times where I was legitimately scared. You're on a train. I remember this big, he had to be about 6'5", all muscle, and he kind of came up to me and he got in my face, and I put my hand on his chest, and he was all muscle. He was very violent. He was all muscle.
Hey, put your hand on my chest. See if it relives the experience.
No.
Damn.
I'm feeling mushy man tits. Yeah, I didn't feel that on this guy.
Dude, it sucks. We're older now, man. I do my push-ups daily, and I gave like one of those, you know how those people give you that handshake hug thing?
Yeah.
I did that with this kid. I think he's about 20 years old. You know the kid that we saw at the Haha?
Right.
You know? Very nice guy. And I was like, this guy is more fit. This guy probably doesn't even work out. And he just seems solid. There's something solid.
Dude, I lost weight about 2 years ago. I lost a lot of weight, and I'm walking around the house with no shirt on.
Yeah.
And my wife literally said, everything is sagging. Put your shirt on.
Oh my God.
But anyway, this guy said he had just got out of prison.
Oh,
and I was on a subway train between stops.
Yeah.
So it's just me and him. There's no backup.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, I talked him out of wanting to beat me up and take my nightstick and beat my head in with it.
Damn.
And he said, I just got out of prison and I'm not going back. He let me know. So no, I avoided any trouble as a cop. I saw stuff go down, but I was always the 5th or 7th guy there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Amber Alert that went on.
Oh, this was El Paso. Very funny. I was in El Paso a year ago, and I'm the headliner, and my middle act, the middle guy, was a real misfit. He looked like a chicken hawk. You know what a chicken hawk is?
No.
A chicken hawk is like a kid toucher.
Oh,
he just had the look of like, you wouldn't let this kid alone with your kids.
Yeah.
Nice guy, but in his act, he talked about working at the carnival. He was a legit carny for 12 or 15 years in a traveling carnival, and he lifted his shirt, and his ugly, disgusting, white, saggy stomach, he had a tattoo of a, what would you call
Ferris
it?
wheel.
Ferris wheel. So he was a creepster. And he looked like a creepster. And on the Saturday night at 5 minutes to 8, an Amber Alert went off, and everyone in the whole club was looking at their phone. All 400 people got the Amber Alert. And I instantly thought to myself, the Amber Alert is about the middle guy, the middle act, because they're going to see what he looks like.
Yeah.
And I looked at the host, and he was getting ready to go on. They were announcing his name. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what's the name of the club here?
The Comic Strip.
Comic Strip at El Paso, your host for tonight. And I said to the host, here's $20. He goes, what? He was a Mexican dude. He goes, what's that for, dog? I said, dude, don't do any jokes about the middle act and the Amber Alert. And he goes, I didn't even think of it. I said, well, here's $20. Save that joke for me. The host went up. The middle act went up, did his whole carnival thing, showed his tattoo. He had creepy hair, dirty fingernails. And I came out and I said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to El Paso. before we start my show, did you guys get the Amber Alert?
Yeah.
And everybody yelled yes. And I said, I'm not sure if you saw the second part of it. They gave the description. Male white, fuzzy hair, green shirt, used to work at a carnival. And everybody went nuts. I was in with them. I was up there 30 seconds.
That was like a gift. That was like comedy gods. Just like when the power went off on Brian, and then boom, it goes back on, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? The timing of it, you know.
I tell my 3 kids every now and then you get lucky, and I got lucky that night.
Dude, I got lucky a few weeks ago. I did a show, and I go to the bathroom, and it was one of those really big bathrooms. And so this wasn't like near a urinal or nothing. I looked down, and guess what? I saw $20.
Nice.
I go down to pick it up, and it turns out underneath that $20 were 2 more. I picked up $60.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you bent over to pick up the 20 and it was stuck to the floor.
No, dude, it feels good because you make money for the gig, and then you make an extra 60. And you know what I'm saying? It's like...
Well, I worked with a New York City transit cop named Al Ostaszewski, and they called him the Big O, and then they called him the Big Zero. He was a big, fat New York City transit cop. He was a real hairbag. You know what a hairbag is?
No.
A hairbag is a cop that doesn't give a S, doesn't care. He's fat. He's there just for the paycheck.
Yeah.
He's a hairbag. And they actually called me. I only had a year on the job. I gained 50 pounds in 12 months.
Damn, it's a lot.
And all I did was look for free food and avoid police work. And they called me an instant hairbag, just add water. But Al Ostaszewski, his only goal at night, guess what it was to look for loose change or money on the subway.
Wow.
And he knew all these places where people where money would fall out of people's pockets.
Yeah.
And he went through every single payphone on his patrol.
Yeah.
He would go to different stations and just go right to the payphone and check the little change thing and go to the next station. He wasn't even looking for any, police activity. He just went from payphone to payphone.
Dude, I used to do that back in elementary school, but do people grow out of that? I don't know. But
well,
he didn't.
There's no more payphones.
Yeah, it's true.
And Al Ostaszewski wound up being shot 5 times.
Did he live?
He lived and he got a medical pension.
Damn. Sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that.
You know where he got shot? He got shot at Smith and 9th, which is the highest train station in New York. It's about 6 stories up in the air.
Wow.
And in the movie Goodfellas, do you remember Goodfellas?
Yeah.
When Robert De Niro is going to kill the main guy's wife, and he goes right down the street, just make a left. De Niro's telling her to go into this doorway.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't go in. She knew she was going to be killed, and she was right below the station, Smith and 9th.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I got a question for you, and this is going to be current day, not when you were younger, not when you were broke. I want to know, like this week, would you do this?
I'm not gay.
No. So I'm hanging with another comic in El Paso. You guys can do the math on who it was.
Okay.
I wonder. He probably doesn't give a damn. But anyways, so we're working on something in his hotel room. We're doing a little video. It's on my Instagram. Go check it out. Darren Carter. Let's just say it. Brian Swinehart. It's Brian again. Swine time. Hey. And so we come out of the hotel room. We'd already made friends with the maids. It was so cool because just like you said, the hotel's along the 10 freeway. It's right across from Mexico. The maids were so friendly, and they were like, "Hola," and they go, "Hi," and we go, "Hi," and they go, "Buenos tardes," and then they go, because they just assume we're tourists because we don't look like anyone that lives there, and she goes, "That means good afternoon," and I took Spanish 101, so I said, I go, "Oh, I know," I remember, I go, "Buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos noches," and then she goes, "Ah," and then so we had a little conversation. So we had this rapport with them. It was really nice. And so we come out of his room, and directly across from his hotel room, they were cleaning the hotel room on the opposite hotel room. And they had there was 2 of the maids, and they were carrying a box of Little Caesars pizza. There was you know where this is going?
Yeah, right? Dude, of course I would eat it. Of course.
There was one piece missing, and they were about to throw it away, and he goes, "Hey, I'll take that." And they kind of like were laughing, and he goes, and they actually handed it to him, and he took it, and he goes, "You're going to throw it away?" And he goes, "Throw it away? I'm going to eat it." And then I go, no. And then the maids are like, no. And they go, no, you don't know. Maybe there's somebody spit on it, or no, you're
no
not.
One spits on their pizza. No one rubs it in their ass crack. They just don't eat it. So it's ready to be eaten. I don't know if you know this. Do you know the lead singer, the lead guitarist of Kiss? Ace Frehley.
Yeah, of course.
Ace Frehley, the spaceman.
Does he sing that song about New York Minute?
Yeah, Back in the New York Groove.
Back in the New York
Yeah, it's a
Groove.
great song.
I love that song.
All right. Ace Frehley and I have 3 things in common.
Yeah.
Okay? We both hung around the New York City subway. Okay? I was a transit cop, and he was basically a degenerate that lived in the subway, that hung around in the subway in the Bronx. Did you know that?
No.
Billy Connolly is a stand-up comedian.
Oh, yeah.
And when he went to go join the Army in like 1969 or 70,
Yeah.
he got on the subway of New York to go downtown, and as he stepped over a young teenager huffing glue in the subway, he said to himself, look at me, I'm going to be an American hero, and this mutt is huffing glue. And that mutt is Ace Frehley. For real.
Wow.
He wound up becoming Ace Frehley.
Wow.
So me and Ace Frehley hung around in the subway. Me and Ace Frehley don't carry equipment. You know that. When I do a stand-up gig and it's a one-nighter and I get there and someone's carrying speakers in and they ask me to help,
Yeah.
I don't help. I'm a star. And here's the answer to your question. Whenever people put food out in a hotel, especially in Vegas, because everyone has that food service,
Yeah.
late at night, and there's the metal lid,
Yeah.
me and Ace Frehley would lift the lid to see what kind of food is left.
Oh, my gosh.
And how do I know that? Paul Stanley wrote a book, and he wrote a whole chapter about what a schnorrer Ace Frehley was, stealing stuff from hotels.
Yeah.
And he thought Paul Stanley thought it was the grossest thing on earth that Ace Frehley would lift the lid
Yeah.
just to see what was under there. So yes, I would eat that pizza
Today.
right now. Do you have any with you?
No. Let's go. There's a hotel around here. Let's go to the hotel. They, because I've heard of people taking like the ketchup or the condiments, but
Yeah.
hey,
We have sound effects in our studio.
I was like, that's my routine, buddy.
No, watch this. I was known in New Paltz College. I went to New Paltz College in upstate New York, and I was known for what?
Grabbing food.
Eating food out of the garbage. I was known for that, yeah.
Wow. What's that? When you're a kid, I kind of see it more. I think I still think it's gross, but I'm like, now what about, so here's the thing. So I brought some apples on the road, right? I like to bring apples. Hilarious. I didn't even eat them, but I brought 4 apples.
Right.
3 red, 1 green.
Right.
If I were to say, John, I got some apples. You want a red one or a green one? What would you say?
It's funny you ask. I fancy a Granny Smith apple.
Here's how dumb I am. I'm assuming that's the green one.
That's the green one, yeah. I like a good Granny Smith apple.
Yeah.
And I'm on Ozempic now. Can you edit this? Because the next thing is a bit dirty.
Try to get creative with it.
Okay.
Tell the story, but
okay,
just
you got
get
it.
creative.
You got it.
Yeah.
I'm on Ozempic now, and it makes food taste dull. I don't know if you know that. It's depressing. Because even on Christmas Day, when my daughter made fresh sauce and fresh pasta, and I'm looking so forward to it, you only get like 60% of the flavor. And there's 2 things that that I can really get the full flavor of, and one of them is a Granny Smith apple, and the other one is a cookie.
Yeah. that mostly women have.
Yeah, it's a woman's cookie. Thank you.
Hey-o.
Yeah, watch out. Coming in hot.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Dude, speaking of getting creative, I saw shout out to Quinn Dale. He's a comedian. You know how we're always talking about for videos for Instagram
Yeah,
and
he's
social
hysterical.
media. And also you can't, it's best not to say the dirty words.
Right.
But if you do, you got to get creative with it so it doesn't like shadow it, not put it out there.
Right.
So he said vagina, but the way he said it was he goes for the punchline he said va, and then he inserted just super quick Trump saying China.
Oh, wow.
So he goes, with a woman's vagina. Like, it was so clever. I was like, that's creative, man.
Yeah, and it's funny. My dad used the word cookie for 30 years. But he didn't use it for comedic effect. He used it just in lieu of the V word, of a Gigi.
Yeah,
he used it. And just the other day, a female comedian sat me down and said, I have something to ask you about. And I said, go ahead. She said, where did you get the word cookie? And I said, my dad used it for 30 years as a clinical term.
Yeah.
And she said, it's the funniest goddamn thing in your stand-up act that you use the term cookie. And she said it's big in the Mexican world. That's why I was curious where you got it from, because I'm not Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought my dad made it up.
Yeah.
And she told me that in the Mexican, at least in her little clique,
Yeah.
they use the word cookie for a woman's cookie.
Because I've heard nookie. It's all about the nookie.
Yeah, see, I never use that. That's
yeah,
just,
me either. I don't like the word nookie. It sounds kind of...
Yeah. It sounds dirty.
Yeah, it
where
does,
cookie
right?
doesn't.
Yeah, cookie doesn't. Yeah, nookie
And
sounds
watch
good.
this.
Yeah.
When I first met my wife and we used the term cookie,
Yeah.
and she kind of said, well, what kind of cookie? And I said, I don't know, a sugar cookie. And then she cheated on me, and we called it an Oreo cookie. Oh, shots fired. That one you didn't like.
That's a joke, right?
You know, that's a joke. That's a joke.
You gotta let the audience know. Double stuffed Oreo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like my women like I like my double stuff.
Let's do 3 of them right now.
Go ahead.
Damn, I wish, I went live with Brian. It was really cool. People were throwing out suggestions.
Oh, good.
And he'd go first, I'd go second, or whatever. All right, let's, I'll pick a word, you pick a word. Okay, so, I like my women like I like my...
Spare tire.
Spare tire. Not bald.
Yeah, you know.
All right, now you say I like my women, and I'll give you
I like
one.
my women like I like my...
Umbrella.
Open.
And wet on top.
There you go.
All right, one more. I like my women like I like my...
Corvette.
Fast and not a lot of miles.
Yeah, there you go.
Popular with middle-aged white dudes.
Yeah.
Are they even middle-aged? Shit, I'm middle-aged
No,
now.
I tell you a quick story. I live in North Hollywood, and right across the street from me is probably about it's got to be like a 98 or a 99 Corvette with T-roofs, and it's got 4 flat tires and bird shit all over it, or bird feces all over it. And I left a note that said, hey dude, I live right across the street, I want to buy this car, and I haven't heard from him. And I see it every day, and it looks like something I can get for like $1,000, and it's worth probably 20 grand.
Yeah, that'd be cool if you get it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the apples, right? Got the red apples, the green apple, the one green apple. So I go into his room later, and I go, you're holding out on me, man. And I see he had 4 bananas on the dresser. Brian.
Because in the morning he's taking extra food.
In the morning, he's going for jogs, and he found some bananas on the side of the road in El Paso.
Oh no.
Like less than 50 feet from the Mexican border.
No, that I might think twice about.
Yeah.
And watch this. I have a story about that hotel.
And real quick, why would you think twice about? Why would you rather get food from a hotel like a former resident than like bananas?
Because who knows if someone? It's stupid. I would think that the banana could be injected with a poison.
I know.
By a Trump lover that thinks he's gonna, stop.
Right.
No, but watch this. On that note, no one would ever tell you this.
Yeah.
I stayed at the hotel in El Paso, and one of the people that worked there, it's funny, I became very friendly with this woman that worked there. We followed each other on MySpace for a while, and she told me that a lot of the, I don't know if I could say this, but a lot of drug dealers, their wives come to El Paso for the weekend. Did you know that?
No.
And they stay at that hotel.
Wow.
And they have endless money. Wow. So they go to all the outlets in El Paso, and every Monday morning, the hallways are loaded with Nike boxes.
Wow.
They take all this, they buy the stuff legally, they unwrap it, they put it in their suitcases, and they're throwing out dozens of Nike sneaker boxes and whatever you would buy, stuff. And as much money as they have, and they're all good looking, and they all drive big SUVs, and they just cut across the border at Juarez. And as much money as they have, all of them load up the free breakfast tray. They'll take 7 yogurts, 15 orange juices, and nobody wants to tell them that they're loading up too much because
you can't take it across the border.
Well, it's just that they don't want to tell them what to do X, Y, or Z because their families are bad guys.
They don't want any problems.
They don't want any problems, dude.
Yeah.
And I went down after she told me, and sure enough, there was this very sexy young lady, about 35 years old. She had the lip job, the hair job, the high heels, and it's 8 a.m, and her tray was 3 feet high.
Wow.
For real.
Dang.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. Yeah. By the way, we've moved hotels. You're not at that same hotel anymore.
Well, I'm sure
that hotel that you're talking about. I saw Stephen. Is it Stephen Piercy from Rat? He was sitting there at that bar called Teddy's.
Wow.
Yeah, during the day.
Now watch this. When I moved to LA, the first famous person I ever saw was Stephen Piercy from Rat.
Wow.
And he looked like a rat.
Yeah.
And this is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And that same day I saw, I can't think of her. Do you know Laura San Giacomo?
No.
She's a very good-looking actress, and she was in a lot of movies in the 90s. And the same day I moved to LA, the first day I saw Stephen Piercy from Rat, and he looked like a rat. And I saw Laura San Giacomo, who was very pretty in the movies, but she had no makeup, and it was 8 in the morning, and guess what she looked like?
A rat.
A rat.
Oh my gosh. Ew.
Seacrest out.
All right, guys, that was a short one. I just wanted to hop on and have John DiResta on the podcast and try to bang out more episodes. If you like what we're doing, let us know. Leave some comments on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, even if you listen to it on other apps, make some time. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, Darren Carter. And follow us both on Instagram. We're having a lot of fun on there. John DiResta on Instagram and Darren Carter, Darren Carter. I will be at Flappers in Burbank, March 12th. Southern California, Burbank, California, March 12th. During the week, it's a Tuesday at 7:30. Also, I'll be in Alameda, California in March. So if you're in the Bay, come say hey. And John, what do you got to say?
I am, just to let everybody know, I'll be in Las Vegas on March 1st and 2nd at P13, the world's biggest marijuana dispensary. It has comedy now. And then I'll be at the Brokerage in Long Island, March 22 and 23. And I have an idea. I'm going to tell you after this.
Yeah.
That could we might be on tour together. John DiResta, Darren Carter. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, buddy. We'll see you later. Thanks, you guys. All right. Don't hurt nobody. Be careful.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.